do what thou wilt. Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 24 of 7 Minutes with themagus, featuring your host, Omega Logion. That's me, the Magus of the Eon of Maat. This episode is the third installment of the trilogy dealing with the 3 chapters of Liber MA Vel Laudum, the Book of the Lauds. As you recall, Liber MA is built on the structure and syllables and words of the Book of the Law. Liber L, and in that book, chapter 3 consists of the words spoken by the god Rahur Kuit, Re Horakti, Ra Horus of the two horizons. Or so you've been led to believe. Now, Ankef Nakansu, whose burial stele was the discovery that triggered the Cairo working that led to the Book of the Law, was a priest of Muntu. And Muntu was the god of war. And yet somehow Muntu makes no appearance in the Book of the Law. Or does he? Rahur Kuit starts out his chapter by saying, I am a god of war and of vengeance. I shall deal hardly with them. And he talks about smiting his enemies and blood flowing to his name. That's not Rahur Kuit. That's Muntu speaking. Look into your Egyptology and try to find one reference of Re Horakti as a god of war. There aren't any, because he wasn't one. There was more than one war god, yeah, but the main one was Muntu. And he's the one speaking the words of chapter 3 of the Book of the Law. But we're leaving that all aside now because the chapter 3 of the Book of the Lauds is spoken by Khonsu, the god of the moon, who, by the way, forms part of the name Ankefna Khonsu, my life is in the moon. And Khonsu's chapter doesn't start with the word abrahadabra, which, as we know, equals 418, a number that appeared at the end of chapter 2 in the Book of the Law. At the end of chapter 2 of Liber MA is the number 414, which is En Sof Or, the limitless light, but it's also the value of this new magical word, Anka Kok Akna. Now that's a palindrome. It's the same backward and forward. And you see that type of formula used a lot in the ancient Greek magical papyri. Words like Alba Nathan Abla or Abla Nathan Alba. You could say it backwards and forwards and spell it in both directions, and it gives it more power if it's the same. That's what's happening in this chapter. And since Khonsu is a god of the moon, he's also interested in measurement, like his counterpart Thoth, another lunar god who was the master magician, creator of mathematics, and very much interested in numbers. Well, Khonsu talks about that famous stele of revealing and changes its name. He says, get the heptad of concealing itself. Draw it in your hidden temple, the one temple of the ruddy delight exposed. And this will be your yantra of 7. Now, he also renames it, instead of the abomination of desolation, he says, that heptad they may call the amalgamation of distillation. Number its name, and the letters spelled out are 717. Well, that number is the Hebrew letter name Zion spelled in full. And Zion is the letter Z, whose value is 7. It's attributed to the lover's card. So once again, we get a reference to love. Now, amalgamation of distillation is essentially an alchemical term. And so Khonsu is going to show his concern with alchemy near the end of the chapter, where he's not going to talk about the 4 ordeals of the Book of the Law. He's going to talk about something else entirely. He says, the fool writeth this Book of the Lauds, and a comment, and he shows the wisdom of Maat. He will show you the God concealed, and it will be to you like iron, then like copper gold, then like tin mixed with metal water, then like lead blended with drops of the silvery orb. And they are all in the crucible. These victories are hardly won in pure fires and by excess. Clearly, this is an alchemical formula he's talking about. But one interesting thing is that if you take these metals, which are the 7 alchemical metals of the planets, and put them in the order that he specifies, and join them in a certain order, you create the lovely star, which is the heptad of concealing, which he told you would be your yantra of 7. And the lovely star is our holy symbol, the symbol of this current 97 and the symbol of the eon of Maat. He then goes back to his magical word to wrap up the book. The rending of the verse is the word Anka Kok Akna. The book of the Lauds is hidden and revealed. Ma. Thus ends Liber MA. Thus ends this episode. Thank you so much for your time. Hope to see you next time. And until that time, love is the law. The comment. Speaking the truth will be the force of the lauds. Perusal of this book is encouraged. It is wise to reread this copy after the first reading. Whosoever thus regards this does so at their own chance of union. This is most fine. Those who describe a sentence in my book are to be left alone, both mentors and postulants. All answers in the lauds are to be decoded only by appeal to the trigrams, each for themselves. There are no lauds beyond speaking the truth. Love in the lauds, love with the will. High priest of the princes, show the light to you.